none of it. He believed they were both in on the scam.
There's no way that the wife knew nothing about this, because the husband told us that these items never existed. The items that they were claiming for were completely fabricated. However, the wife, during her interview with the police, suggested that the items did exist and was providing photographs of them. The inconsistencies in the husband and the wife's story showed that either both of them or one of them were certainly telling lies.
Because the husband had admitted the whole thing was a scam, he was given a caution for fraud by false representation. His wife continued to deny she was aware it was a fraudulent claim.
The wife didn't receive a police caution because the police have to deal with these cases based on the evidence, and the husband admitted that he perpetrated it, but the wife certainly paid for it in other ways. She was found guilty of gross misconduct and was dismissed from the police force.
The couple was also put on the insurance fraud register.
It's really shocking and surprising that a certain police officer would be drawn into making a fraudulent insurance claim. But we actually find that greed is an aspect that fuels people to commit insurance fraud, and that's irrespective of backgrounds, employment status, or anything really.
In the UK, we spend more on insuring our cars than on any other kind.
Right, good morning to our community from the UK. As most of us know about the targeting programme, you have to realise the covert operators are fraudsters, and you have to realise the technical sophisticated. And with me, my situation, every time I go on my phone, they're mirroring everything I do and trying to capture my facial expressions and eye looks and trying to see where I am, especially when at a home, and trying to pick faults in everything we do, and also trying to see what our home looks like, so that they can tell lies to social services, to the community members, that the targets are not looking after themselves. They can pick up any things that line around to try and misdiagnose the targets, to try and slander them. And that's when the targeting program is linked to slander campaigns. And that run against the targets, trying to leave a target isolated and alone with no one to turn to. i.e., if you go to the police or report it to local authorities, they just ignore the claims and try and give a misdiagnosis of a mental health illness symptom. It's domestic terrorism and crimes against humanity, and they must be exposed. And that's why me and many millions of TIs around the world are exposing it daily. Newcomers out there, research gangstalking, community-based harassment, Intel Pro, the Starship program, the Eastern German Setzung program, all linked to stalking, shadowing targets 24 hours a day, and with advancement in technologies and the technical sophisticated knowledge of these covert criminals, they set up Big Brother on people, using landlords, using the neighbours' properties, all through sneaking in and putting bugs everywhere. But in a lot of mine and a lot of TI's situations, they're using the neighbours and the landlords, depending whether they've bought the properties or whether they're rented, and for how long you've been targeted for. Me and my family have been targeted for nearly 2 decades. The landlords using construction engineers, electrical engineers, mechanical engineers, and armed forces police knowledge. They can put up sensory circuitry shoved in from next door neighbours, embedded in the walls, embedded in the ceilings. And then they can use anyone in them properties nearby or either side, if you've lived in terraced houses, to spy on the target 24 hours a day in their homes and get a visual capture of them, track and tracing them in their homes in every room. That includes the toilet, the bathroom, and in the bedroom. Using, obviously, for raw technology, technical sophisticated cameras that can look through the walls, sonar, radar, X-ray, microwave, thermology cameras, highly collaborated to look at the target's bodies, to look for target activities, while also using auditory effect technology to sound harass a target wherever they go, giving them no privacy, no peace, and trying to ramp up surveillance, pressure, stress, and goading and baiting the target 24 hours a day via sound harassment. And then they capture all the looks. Whether they're on your phone, they'll capture your eyes every day from the first second you wake up, look at your phone, to the last second that you go to bed. So throughout the day, a lot of people are on their phones, and they're capturing the facial expressions, capturing your horology looks, while they do the noise harassment around you 24 hours a day. With me, because it's linked, I know it's linked to healthcare, NHS, mental health, desperation. If I put my phone on the cupboard, on top of the kitchen cupboard, and I see a bit of dust, which these covert operators have mentioned, yeah, they're sending that to the network to try and say, oh yeah, the house ain't clean. Desperation. Or the floor ain't clean. If they can edit the photographs from the cupboards and try and make out it's the floor, if they've got wooden flooring. Same if I'm walking around with my phone, whether we use the camera at the bottom, we use the camera at the top, and the mirror our phones using some kind of similar stuff to or using Pegasus technology to be on our phones 24 hours a day, while at the same time we're stealing all our data, all my data. If I go into my emails, anything I do on my phone, it's all getting mirrored, and they've got a covert operator, whether nearby or in a remote neural monitoring location, isolated location, or sitting somewhere in the police force, offices, intelligence agency's office, undercovers, or whether they're sitting with the mental health administrators, psychiatrists, psychologists, sociologists, and behavioural scientists. Two, whether they're sitting in a criminal home somewhere in the neighbourhood. They're stealing all our data. So I said, whether it's emails, whether it's surfing, or whether it's video conferences, they watch everything and steal everything. And that's major fraud. For how long, as I've said, they've got no warrants to do it every day, 24 hours a day, week after week, month after month, year after year. So they're abusing their authorities if they work for the government, local council authority. If they're criminal, active local gangs who are doing it all, then it says they're just bona fide criminals, criminal lowlives. So with the programme we just watched, it's on every morning in the UK, claimed and shamed, 10:30 to 11:30, about an hour. And the one I just watched, I missed the first few minutes of the beginning of it all, and only when I realised she was a present police officer, or used to be a police officer, because she got dismissed for grievous misconduct. Her and her husband, her partner, claimed from the insurance company that bicycles had been stolen. And the investigator, he mentioned metadata, saying we found out with the metadata that they took the photographs a day after they reported the theft. So obviously they were thinking if they take photographs of when the bikes were previously, before the theft, that'd be able to help their claim, which they did a day after they reported it. So that's how they got caught. The policewoman tried to cover it all up via obviously conspiring with abusing her authority and stopping the investigators from carrying on investigation in the police force, or stopping them having access to the reports that they'd made to the police. That's how she tried to cover it all up, but eventually they managed to get the reports from the police, and obviously the police had to investigate it all, and she got dismissed for grievous misconduct. All their insurance details will be passed on to insurance companies around the world to list them as fraudsters. So when it comes to these covert operators taking photographs, videos and sound recordings and stealing our data off our phones, there would be a date stamp on it all. And then they try and throw it all, edit it all, into a profile dossier, portfolio, whether it's used by the police or whether it's used for the NHS, healthcare, mental health administrators, social services. It's all fraud, because we're constantly taking photographs and videos and sound recordings every day, which can be edited to try and portray the target as something else to the way they want to claim the target is, and try and misdiagnose the target, or try and stitch and frame the target up for criminal offences. And if a lot of targets like me are under medical research, under sociology, everyday human behavioural science research, they're defrauding the researchers, whether in your country or worldwide, by photographing other people's looks, depending on what technology they're using, and how they zoom in, capturing other people's eyes, similar to yours, facial expressions, if they're using thermology, track and trace, outlining technologies, ultrasound, x-rays. They'll capture other people's body shapes and other people's activities indoors and try and state it's a target who doesn't know how to look after themselves, might be a danger to themselves or to others if the target's in the kitchen or using electrical equipment or doing DIY. So make out the target's helpless, useless, dysfunctional and incapable of living on their own or in the community, and should be under divine intervention, should be detained under mental health incapacity slanderous claims, and they'll try and get a court order on the target via their social services courts, healthcare courts, which are not open to the public, so the target can't defend themselves or get a solicitor involved or a lawyer involved if you live in the USA, and try and detain the target under false, fraudulent pretences. Now with me, I know it's all linked to healthcare, because they've seen the person in charge of covert operators keep stating they're going to weigh him. That's all to finish off a bogus research comparisons they've done on me, using all people from all walks of life, from the works area to the local community, to even using people already detained in the Mental Health Act recently or years ago, to try and do a bogus research comparing me to people in mental health or in the community who think they are healthier and live better than me. While of course when they're using people already registered into mental health or adult care homes, which we did against my mother, they try and state their methodology in using these people, comparing their bodies against us or their lifestyle against us, is justified because the people they've apparently helped, which is all lies, it's all fraud, are doing better than their targets. So if I go out in public and they've put mental health people around me, which I've tried to record, whether they're sitting on the buses or walking around us in shopping centres, the social services and healthcare mental health people will state behind closed doors in these fraudulent courts that the people they've captured in my vicinity are already registered into mental health and they've helped them and they're doing better than me or any other TI I'll be doing it to, my mother or my brother. Trying to make out it's a helping system, they're helping people by detaining people and misdiagnosis and mental health fraud, social services fraud, healthcare fraud. They're vicious, they're relentless, these targeted networks, these covert operators, and they are compulsive liars, they're fraudsters. And when we're taking ourselves, they're fraudsters because for how long it goes on for, they're committing fraud using computer widgetry editing tools, software tools, every aspect, every day of when they're capturing TIs. And they use staged actors and staged scenarios, edit it all, try and make out as a target, and then pass it on to social workers, mental health administrators, to digest, to see if it's good enough for them to try and get a court order on the target. This is what they're building up to against me, or my mother as well, and my brother. Major fraud, and it's happening to TIs, not only in the UK, around the world, daily. That's why they won't leave us alone. and they're training loads of gullible, bribed, blackmailed, or experienced and campaigners have done it all before to join the targeting network, and they put it into a database of the targeting networks in that city, in that town, in that village, so they can use time and time again to detain people, to aid and abet the local authority in social services, in healthcare and mental health, to stitch and frame people and get damning personal persecutions in the courts they use, which are close to the public. And that's how they're covering it all up. As I said, it's major fraud in their system. And for the community members involved in the targeting around me, whether it's in my local city, Coventry, and we've got a network all over the West Midlands, Birmingham, Rugby, Nuneaton, Bedworth, the community gangstalkers, they're defrauding themselves. And they're being denied for it all when they're sitting at homes and laugh about it all, or whether they're sitting in a pub, sitting behind a mobile or tablet or laptop, wherever they are, whatever party they have, whatever session they have, whatever wedding they have. Yeah, they're major fraudsters, and that's why I'm exposing it to the local city, to the local community, and to on social media networks, because they're criminal practicing, untrustworthy covert operators, untrustworthy surveillance monitoring teams, who will need to be exposed for the good of humanity. There's a 24/7 noise harassment. They do home invasions. They do drugging of food and drink. Destruction of property. i.e., in my old flats, and quite a lot of targets, I mentioned it before, they flood the target's property, be it adjoining apartments above them. I had it quite a few times in my old flat, and when the housing authority investigated, they tried to state it wasn't the flat above me, apartment above me, there's another apartment above. So I'm thinking, well, surely the apartment above me, flat above me, would have been damaged as well. And we've done it a few times. So that it softens the concrete, so they can get the optic lenses in to sound record targets and to put the sensors in. That's why we do the water damage. I noticed someone on a TI's mentioned it, asking a question: has anyone had water damage, flood damage over the week? And that's my explanation in it all. Yeah, they do water damage so they can push in the optic lenses and sensors to sound record targets and to set up the auditory effect around them, all above their ceilings. And in my old apartment in Vincent Wiles' house, yeah, I presume they did major damage, because the water damaged it that much, and they heard the pneumatic drill, so that they can get the manpower down there and put in some big equipment in, so that it'd be over my bed and over my sitting positions in the front room, so they can radio us and capture my human biology, my human anatomy, every single day, 24 hours a day, when any time I was in my property, to get clinical close-up for the medical industry. Like flatbed, EMF, ultrasound, X-ray equipment of some sort. So, TIs, as you can see, I'm not much on YouTube these days, because due to them hacking my phone 24 hours a day And due to how they try and bait and goad and entrap targets and throw loads of names around us 24 hours a day from the local community, they try and use that against us, trying to entrap us, trying to make out we are deluded, got deluded visions, and accusing people. I've mentioned loads of names at the beginning throughout the targeting who've done street theatre and who were conspiring in my works area as stage actors, stage scenario fraudsters who was trying to set me up in the works area. And also they did comparisons research, clinical close-up trials, models making to make out while I'm being radiated and having that auditory effect bombarded around me 24 hours a day in the works area, hoping I'll freak out, or losing focus or concentration at work. They're filming other people, which is model making, to make out them people were better role models in the works area. And also for subject example making, so they can laugh with the local community of what we've done to the targets. It's how sick the senior leader is, the senior leaders. How unlawful their practice, criminal practice. How they're desperate to misdiagnose. And how evil they are, stooping so low that they've got nothing better to do than harass people. And especially long-term targets have been exposing for a very long time. They won't wave the white flag in the air, saying, okay, the target knows about it, there's no point carrying on. They just dig their heels in and come out with more evil. And get more community members involved, or bribing them, paying them, blackmailing them. If they've done criminal activity all their lives, or throughout their lives, they've got something on them to get more community members involved, more families involved. They're threatening them, saying you best go out there and do this stage scenario, otherwise I'll make it hell for you and your family. That's how they're recruiting community members. And community members who participate in it all, once we've done a little skit for them, a little shift for them, whether it's overt or covert operators, whether it's stealing data from a target's phone as some kind of cyber criminal, whether they make phone calls to a target's home or to a target's mobile, or whether they try and stitch them up in the works area in a stage scenario, stage acting role. They use it against the people who participate in the targeting program time and time again, threatening them, whether the target works, whether the participating targeting community members work or claim benefits in the UK, they'll threaten them, saying we have our ways of stopping you from working, or sabotage your works career, or sabotage your benefits claims. So that's how they're getting local people to participate. So everyone who's unaware of the targeting program and what's happening in your local community, research it all, keep your eyes and ears out, and don't tolerate it. Don't join them, because they are crimes against humanity. While TIs, if you're new to the program, targeting program, it says try and get as much information of it as possible. Researching, experts out there, doctors out there, government people who are reporting it all, trying to expose it all. Reach out to other TIs, to other TI groups, and they keep it real. Don't realise it's a intrusive, invasive, 24-hour bombardment around you, and not to get entrapped by noise harassment campaigns, or not to do anything stupid in public or in the works area, because they want you to get angry, they want you to get stressed, they want you to lash out and accuse people. Because I've experienced it all, and I went for that stage. Didn't lash out at nobody, but I said I knew the works people were involved in it all. You just have to tread very carefully on how you go about it all. Otherwise, we'll use it against you and realise it's a 24-hour surveillance operation. They do it in shifts. So don't be hoodwinked into thinking only a couple of people are doing it. And they'll set up equipment all around here, like a CCTV system, depending on what technology we're using. And we'll be capturing 24 hours a day, hoping to use it against you one day. So try not to get stressed or angry, and don't get baited or goaded into a reaction. That's about it all for now. Digest it all so I can analyse it all. And everyone have a good day and take care. Stay safe. Over and out.